Welcome to the ever-expanding world of snowboard gear polyamory. I'm James Beastie, and this is The Good Ride. Today, we're talking about the Nidecker Rift Pro, a more responsive boot than the regular Rift. And this year, it's only the Pro and the regular Rift. The Rift lace is no more. And this is a more responsive, super long-lasting, very shock absorbent boot that gives me a similar feel to the SLX of old in the late O's, early teens, when it was truly an exceptional boot. And overall, they fixed a lot of the issues I personally had with the regular Rift. And this is a great boot for a rider like myself who has a wide range of boards in their quiver, and this will match up with most of them exceptionally well. So I rode these 2 days and of course had to compare them to a very similar Bataleon Acid BOA and then the boot I've been using as my daily driver, the Nitro Team TLS. I rode them with a wide variety of bindings. I actually used these for a binding test one day, which was really fun. And I rode these with the Nidecker Megalite and a few other boards as well, like the Nidecker Gun and my United Shapes Cadet LTD. And this is an honest, objective review for you, the consumer, with zero brand oversight. And I can do that thanks to a great sponsor by the name of Flower Board Shop. They've been selling to snowboarders longer than most snowboarders have been alive, and most resorts have been allowing snowboarders on the hill. So if you want to support a great shop with excellent customer service, fast shipping, and a large online presence that's also family owned, click through our links to Flower Board Shop and spend your hard-earned cash there. We'd greatly appreciate it. Now let's talk weight. These are 2 pounds, 7 ounces with the regular insole in there. In comparison to last year's Bataleon Acid BOA, these are 2 pounds, 6 ounces. So almost the same weight. And in comparison to my Nitro Team TLS, these are 2 pounds, almost 5 ounces. All are middle range when it comes to boot weight. Now, when it comes to the fit, my size 9s fit really well inside the Rift Pro. In comparison to the Bataleon Acid BOA in a size 9, they feel like they're 9 1/4 as opposed to the 9 they should be. And the Team TLS fit perfectly true. The Rift Pro is close to the Team TLS in terms of fit, but maybe a touch big. And when this liner packs out a little bit, it might be a touch bigger, but you can put some boot fitting foam in there. And I wouldn't size down or size up to fit this boot. And now in terms of width, this fit my E-width foot, which is the beginning of wide, really well. And I didn't have to heat mold it to get my foot to feel comfortable and not feel pinched on the sides. The Acid BOA did the same. It was very comfortable day one. And same with my Nitro Team TLS. These are all great for wider feet. I do like the wider toe box of the Rift Pro and the Acid BOA a little better than the Team TLS. I wish they had a little wider toe box, but overall, it's not a huge complaint. So if you're like a C, a D, or an E, these are gonna fit really well. But if you're a little wider than an E, maybe an E1/2 or a double E, you might be able to get this to work because the liner is heat moldable and you can press in this area a good bit to get this to fit better. When it comes to the insole, there's not much going on here. It's got a little cush here, but I liked this boot a lot better with my King Foam Orthotic Elite insole. Just gave me a little extra shock absorption, a little extra arch support. And this isn't a great insole, but none are that come with a boot. Now, when it comes to the lacing system, you have a double BOA. This operates the bottom half, and this one operates the top half. And it's perfect upper and lower separation. I personally love this because I have swollen ankles. I almost never have heel lift, so I want to keep the lower a little less tight and then the upper medium. so I get more response. And I can close this in a little better around the ankle than I could with the Bataleon Acid BOA, which runs a bit wide. And this area here doesn't close very well over the ankle, so it's better for people with wider ankles or don't have heel lift issues, where this is more mid-level. There are a lot better boots out there that can deal with heel lift, but you can always add boot fitting foam here or inside the shell to press this in more and keep your heel from lifting. And this is pretty fast in and out. And what I love about this liner, and I think this is going to be on the regular Rift as well, but I'm not 100% sure because I didn't get that to review. But now you have Velcro all the way through, where before it used to stop right here, and this can wrap pretty tightly for most people. So you can now bring this all the way in like this, and it's fine. Now, when it comes to flex and response, I'm going to put my hand down in here like your shin would be on this boot. And this is much more stiff than the regular Rift. And I love that because it really has a medium stiff flex that's much more responsive. With the old Rift, it used to feel really loose around the top of this boot, and there was like a delayed response. Now it's much tighter and there's almost no delay. And in comparison to the Bataleon Acid BOA boot, you have a much easier flex in the ankle area, but a much more supportive and tight response top area. There's only one Velcro point right here, so you can wrap this continuously, but the tongue of the liner fits really snug against the tongue of the shell, and they work together almost perfectly. So you have more leverage up top with the Acid BOA boot, and when you have ankle straps on, and if you have a good supportive responsive ankle strap, it's just about the same as the Rift Pro. But the Rift Pro is more continuous throughout and is much stiffer around the ankle. Now, this isn't a fair comparison because these Team TLSs have a lot more days on them over these boots here. It's not a completely fair comparison, but overall it's pretty good. And I love that they have this plasticky, rubbery spine here that helps retain the flex, and then a little more reinforcement here. It's not a lot in comparison to let's say the Team that goes almost all the way to the top, or the Acid BOA that comes up much higher. But like both of these boots in a different way, it has perfect articulation that goes almost to the shell here. That prevents shell distortion and retains the flex for a long period of time. And then you have this rubbery plastic throughout this area going all the way down into the toe to make this area very durable, and it's going to help preserve the flex and be much more durable than these boots, where this has an articulation point right here of neoprene, and you can see there's no shell distortion and it's very well built, but this area can get some nicks and it'll break down faster than a rubbery plastic toe area and entire back area until you get to here. This is the only part that's not rubbery plastic. Then you have a normal shell material up here. That's very similar to the Acid BOA. They're most likely made in the same factory. So all three of these boots have excellent flex retention. You can ride well over 100 days and still have a lot of your boots flex left, depending on how hard you crank down your ankle straps and break down the boot, how hard you ride. But if you're an average rider like me, I would say 150 to 200 days is well within the realm of possibility. And I don't think you're going to have issues with wear either. Now, when it comes to shock absorption, I actually like this better than the Bataleon Acid BOA boot. They have about the same amount of EVA foam here, but this sole seems to be a little softer, so it allows that midsole to feel a little more shock absorbent. However, I do like the Vibram sole here for traction a little bit better in all types of temperatures, but this traction wasn't bad either. And then when it comes to the best in terms of shock absorption, it was definitely my Team TLS. That airbag is so much better, and then you still have a Vibram outsole too that's very thick. So you get the best of both worlds with this. This is the winner here. With all three of these boots being so shock absorbent, I thought they would feel more isolated from feel underfoot with the binding. And they're not the best if you like a lot of feel underfoot and you want a minimized sole so your connection to the binding is better. But they're not bad for having all this shock absorption. And these days in my life, with the butter slowly dripping off the popcorn, I want more shock absorption, and I'm okay with less board boot to binding feel. I think these still do great in that way. And when it comes to the footprint of the boot from toe to heel measured against a wall, these are 30.2 centimeters. In comparison to the Acid BOA, they're about 30.3 to 30.4 centimeters, where my Nitro Team TLS are 29.5 centimeters. That is a shit ton less. While millimeters might not matter in sex, they sure do matter in snowboarding. And if you want a more reduced footprint to eliminate toe and heel drag, the Team TLS is going to be the best. These are almost the same. So overall, other than maybe a little bit too long of a footprint, there's not much to complain about this boot. I think it's excellent. I'm going to be recommending the hell out of it. It's what I wish the SLX still was. And this is a boot I wouldn't mind owning in my quiver and using to test other boards with. I really had minimal complaints in the few days that I rode it. I'm sure over time, little things could start to annoy me, like every boot does. But if you always were interested in the Rift and you wanted more response, and a boot that's going to last longer than almost every other boot in Nidecker's line, these might not start out as stiff, but they're going to hold their flex and response a lot longer. And when those stiffer boots are almost socks, these will still be going strong. So excellent recommendation. Give them a look.